You let me know. Oh, we're
Oh.
live.
Welcome to Open Caller. I'm Corey with Fischel. Thanks for joining us. So Google Play Music's no more? I just read that before coming on.
It's been well, so they have YouTube Music, which is part
That
of...
I knew because they're migrating this over, right?
Yeah. So they've had YouTube Music for a while. So we are YouTube Premium subscribers, and with that we get YouTube Music for free, which is fun. It's like not bad. It's not Spotify, but it's not like there's nothing on here, right? Like there was a time when if you were having a party or something and you didn't have a good playlist, you would just go to YouTube and play music videos to have like music. So now YouTube Music exists for that kind of thing where you can, if there's a music video attached to it, you can also watch that. I don't know. Do they still make music videos? I feel like
Sure.
Exactly, right? Like I don't really know. That's super annoying.
No, not at all. It's all part of it. I can't say the last time, not without knowing that they do, can't say the last time that I've actually watched a music video.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where, like, I never, like, growing up, I was never a big music video fan. I'm trying to think of if there was, like, I used to really like Pop-Up Video. Do you remember that? Like, that was fun. Yeah. And so I'm like, oh yeah, that's fun. I like getting some information.
It was both entertaining and informative.
Exactly. And really it was I think that the ones that I remember the most are Alanis Morissette, Isn't It Ironic? And
yes,
Never Gonna Give You Up.
Well, the one thing I remember about the ironic one is that I think most of the pop-ups were just explaining how what she says is not ironic.
Not ironic. Yeah, exactly.
Like, whoop, this is a coincidence. It's not ironic.
But I think those are the like music videos that I watched the most.
I also remember the Meatloaf, I Would Do Anything for Love pop-up one.
I remember that one.
Those are the three for sure.
But yeah, so YouTube Music is, Google Play Music has been kind of on its way out. Not really on its way out, but they've been trying to get feature parity onto YouTube Music for a while now. And they said 2020 is going to be when they finally, transfer all the features over. But one of the big selling points of Google Play Music was not only that you get, playlists and radio stuff from music that was available to stream, but you had I think it was like 20,000 or 40,000 song or file locker that you could upload your own music. So if there was some music that you wanted to be able to stream kind of wherever you were, but it wasn't on Google Play Music, or if you had, if you had a friend who was a musician that you liked their songs, but obviously they weren't on Google Play Music yet, you could put their songs into your locker and then be able to stream them wherever you want. I used it for I would put audiobooks on there and stuff, so I could listen to audiobooks kind of wherever I was. So that was a neat feature because there's a lot of, especially with Spotify, right? There's a lot of like, oh, so-and-so, this album is exclusive on Spotify for whatever, 2 weeks, a month before it becomes available on YouTube Music or Google Play or Amazon or whatever other music streaming service there is now. So that was a good way to get that album into your playlist without having to wait, kind of thing. So that's the thing you're reading about Google Play Music right now, is that they're giving you the option to transfer your playlists and your music locker and all that kind of stuff onto YouTube Music, because that was going to be pretty annoying to have to kind of go one by one. But yeah,
Yes.
that's it. YouTube Music's pretty good. I use it more than I use Spotify, but I don't really use either very often.
Because you're at home.
I'm driving, it's usually podcasts and not music. So
yeah, I'm way out of the music game now. I don't find it as entertaining as listening to people just chat about anything like this.
Exactly.
Nintendo NES. This is a conversation
NES.
I was having earlier today. What was your method of making sure that your cartridge worked? Did you blow
it was definitely the blow method. Was
horizontal or vertically?
It was usually vertically.
Up or down?
I don't know. I think that was just get that dust out. At that point, I was like, I just want to be able to play the game right now. Or, the other method, because it wasn't always like, just because it was so finicky that, you had to slide the cartridge in just right, and it couldn't go like too far in or not be too far out. So you had to like find that perfect thing and push it down at the right time.
I couldn't. Yeah. I forgot to look, but I did find. I remember reading an article saying that actually made no difference. It was all just what people.
Oh, it was a placebo for sure. Yeah, that was.
But everyone had their method. I remember talking to my old boss at work when I first saw it, and we were talking about it. He said, "No, it worked for sure." And then when we were saying how I did it, he said, "No, that was not the way to do it. It was his method was completely different than mine. Mine was like you blow vertically from bottom to top. I had to slide and make sure never touch the sides, because if you touch the side, you're screwed.
It ruined the blow.
Yeah, and so
start all over.
You slow in, push down, ever so gently, and I left the flap open. If you close the flap, then it wouldn't work.
See, it's one of those things that it was definitely like a lot of the times all you really had to do was just like take the cartridge out and put it back in, because it was just like a pin adjustment. Like, things weren't talking to each other, and that was it. But it's one of those things that when it works, you're like, oh yeah, that's totally the reason. It's because I blew the dust out, and that's the reason it worked. And if you did that, put the cartridge in, push it down, and it didn't work, you would just take the cartridge out, blow on it again, put it back in until it worked, and then you'd be like, oh yeah, that was the reason it worked. So like, yeah, it definitely wasn't a thing. Like, obviously, if the cartridge was super dusty, you just want to get some dust off, but it wasn't like it's the only way to get it to work. It was probably nothing. It had to go in a certain way. Like, it just had to, the pins needed to touch the contact pads, and then that was it. Whether you blew on it or not, whether you went vertically or horizontally or, upside down, whatever it was, it really didn't matter. People just thought it did because, randomly after 6 tries of doing it, it worked. And it was like, oh yeah, that was the one. That was the one that did it.
It only takes 6 attempts. The 7th, then just give it up. The reason why I brought that up is I'm sure you saw it too, but they were saying that we're about halfway through the life cycle of the Nintendo Switch that came out 3 years ago. Does that seem like it's a short lifespan?
You froze and cut out for a while. So
sorry, the Nintendo Switch apparently is halfway through its life cycle. So
oh really?
It came out 3 years ago, and apparently it only has 3 more years left. So my question is, does that seem too short of a span for a console such as this?
I don't think so. I feel like, because like we can say, okay, when did the PS4 come out? Like 8 years ago, right?
Something akin to that.
8 to 10 years ago.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. But since the original PS4 came out, there's been, the PS4 Slim, PS4 Pro, uh, other ones with like minor hardware upgrades and stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
So it's like while the PS4 is a whatever 10-year-old system now, when the PS5 is going to come out, uh, it's had it's had little minor upgrades along the way to kind of keep it going. Um, Whereas the Switch, it's got the Switch, it's got the Switch Lite. Uh, I don't know. It doesn't really look like we have anything in the ways of a Switch Pro, which was rumored all of last year, or yeah, second half of last year, kind of thing. So it's like if this Switch lasts me for 6 years, from like a day one purchase to 6 years from then, I think I'd be pretty happy with that. That's a reasonable amount of time for, like, I mean, 6-year-old hardware in today's technology terms, is pretty old. And if things can still work, I'm pretty okay with that.
This might be a Nintendo thing because I'm just looking further into the article. The Nintendo Wii was released in 2006. 6 years later, they had the Wii U. And then the handheld market, they had the Nintendo DS, which was released in 2004. 7 years later, they had the 3DS in 2011.
Yeah.
So I think they keep their life cycles fairly short. They play the long game, so shorten the lifespan of their
Yeah, and I mean,
system.
we've talked about this before, but every Nintendo system that either of us have had, like it, they're not there. You're not buying a Nintendo system for the high-end graphics and all that kind of stuff, right? So it's like it's not like they need the latest and greatest processors and RAM and whatever else goes into it to continue to maintain that kind of cartoony I mean, not super pixelated, but kind of pixelated look of their games.
Mm-hmm.
Like trying to play a PS2 game right now would be like, it would be tough. Like, it's super pixelated. But
But depends on the game, though.
yeah, there's just not that many. Like, I've been playing a lot of Zelda, and it looks great. I mean, it looks fine. It doesn't look like as detailed as when we're playing Spider-Man on PS4, but you kind of set your expectation, I guess, with Nintendo, and it tends to be on the lower end of, well, the gameplay's fun, and that's more important than everything looking, as real, or the blades of grass or the windows or anything like that looking exactly how they should.
So quite the spectrum. Blades of grass, windows.
Well, I was thinking blades of glass for Zelda versus
We don't
like
care about the detail of
the windows of the
the
building.
characters, but if I want to see streaks in those windows,
But
that's the
the
level of
thing.
detail I'm looking for.
I really don't like, if we got well, not gonna happen, but like if we got Spider-Man on the Switch, it would not look not anything, but it wouldn't look as good as Spider-Man on the PS4.
No.
But at that point, we're sacrificing that sort of high resolution picture and quality and stuff for the portability of the Switch.
This is true. I would
Even
rather have a shitty looking portable game than a one where I'm tied to my television.
exactly, and
This one here.
even because you had your remote play on your iPad, right?
Yes.
With your PS4, and
Yes.
even that, even with a great screen on your iPad and a controller, like, it doesn't look as good as on a TV, but you get to play that wherever you want, so you take it.
And it was super laggy.
Yeah, it's super laggy for sure. But 1080p or 1080p is fine. You get to play it in the car, so it's better than 0p.
I don't know. That's when you fall into the 360i or
Who's he
whatever.
again?
Probably. It's a good evening.
You froze again for a while.
Yeah, well, makes sense.
Yeah, it happens. This is gonna be a good episode.
This will be good one to edit. EA Games, did you see this? They're offering, and much like some other games on the Xbox One, the ability to upgrade to next gen consoles.
Yeah,
with a catch.
With a catch, yeah, that's crazy.
So the Microsoft Series X games, most of the ones that were announced last week, say that you can, if you buy the games for the Xbox One, the current generation, you upgrade for free. If you buy the new system, EA is offering the same thing, but the caveat is you have to buy the game within this window, and then after that window, you have until another window to upgrade your console, or you got to buy it full pop.
Yeah.
Or whatever the cost is at the time.
Yeah. That sucks.
I thought it was cool that EA was offering, but I figured they were going to do something
like
this.
They could just go to the same, what's Xbox calling it? Something dumb. Smart delivery.
Yeah. I didn't know what that was.
But yeah, it's like, why that literally you have no idea that that's what that means. Like, just call it smart upgrade or whatever. Anyway, but like,
or a free upgrade.
Yeah. Like, they could have programmed that into their games, but they're like, no, we're going to do our own thing. And I'm surprised they weren't like, oh, you need to be signed up for EA Pass to do this.
Yeah, well, that's what they're doing. If I don't know if you go through the PlayStation Store a lot, but they pulled NHL 20, and you can only get it for PlayStation 4 through the EA Access.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then at that point you got to pay like whatever the cost for their monthly service.
It's like $15 or whatever.
Yeah, but you can still buy it for. That's if you want to get the digital store. You can still buy the physical copy, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
both the Xbox and PS5 are going to have a digital physical disk drive, right? Not physical disk drive, but a slot for physical discs. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be, and then they'll make their diskless versions of them. When do you think
if they didn't have a disk drive, you'd put a lot of business such as like the EB Games or the GameSpots out of business. Yeah. That they thrive on
the secondhand
trade-ins.
Yeah. When do you think it's going to be where they actually just say, all right, here we go, Xbox 6 or PS6 fully digital, no physical games, everything's downloaded. They give you a 4 terabyte hard drive just because you're going to need that much space.
When broadband's accessible for everyone.
Yeah, that's fair. Because they did it with the Xbox, had a version of it, right? That was completely diskless.
The Xbox One S, yeah.
The One S was digital. PlayStation never made one, right? They just had the Slim and the Pro. They all had the slot for it. And then it's just like one less moving part when you don't have it.
How many kids do you think got that for Christmas from a parent thinking, "Oh, I'll get this one. It's $100 cheaper," and no one explained to them.
So many.
Sweet.
And
here's your.
I know.
Just got all these games you can't pop in there.
Yeah. I know. Like, I did my best when, like, at Best Buy over the holidays, or especially before all this like quarantine stuff. Consoles were flying off their shelves because they're like, well, I'm at home working all day. Like, I gotta get something for the kids to
gotta do something.
And they would be like, so what's the difference between X and S? Why is this one so much cheaper? And basically it was like, I would do my best to be like, well, there's no disc slot here, so everything's gonna have to be digitally downloaded and purchased online. And then I was like, if you're doing this and you don't want to give, your credit card information or like have it auto filled in, anything like that on the console, I'm like, you should get these like Xbox, you know, money cards so that
Hmm.
you can just load, like, they can redeem the code and then the kids can buy, the game that they want and not overspend. Um, and a lot of parents were like, "Oh," and would like opt in for the one with the disc. I think it's just because that's like it's what they're used to.
Yeah.
Or they would ask like, "Well, like, which one do you have? How do you get your games?" And I'm like, I'm a physical disc guy. I want the cartridge, I want the CD, and it goes back to the EB games. Like, I want to, when you digitally download something, it's not like you can trade that in again or sell it or like hand it off to someone.
Yeah, because there's obviously you're always gonna have the title in your possession that you're just never gonna touch again.
Oh yeah.
Like I finally finished after 2 years of almost 3 years not playing it. The Batman Arkham Knight, finished the main story, but I haven't got 100%. Am I really gonna go through everything to get the 100%? I probably would just start over.
That's what I'm doing with Zelda right now, is trying to 100% it. I'm like, on my original game that I got, like, I'm just gonna start over, see what I can do to get to 100%. And I'm at like 55 right now. I just have a bunch of small things to do.
Just a little bit more to go.
Uh, but yeah, there's also the Switch only shows you like your, I think, like 6 or 7 most recent game things.
Yep.
So like for me, it's always Zelda, and then like the two Nintendo Online things like NES and SNES. And then I have like Mario Kart and Mario Odyssey and Super Mario Brothers Dogs. After that, I'm like, oh, I don't know, randomly, I'm like, oh yeah, I wonder what's in this like more games section here. And there's just a bunch of like dinky little
And the
games.
rest.
Yeah, like on the eShop, there's those games, they go down to like 99 cents. I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll go for this, see how it is. And I'm like, that was it was a waste of $1 for sure. Like, even if I played it for an hour, I'm like, yeah, not worth it.
So when you see those commercials where they say for less than a cup of coffee a day, nope,
Yeah,
eShop's got my money.
yeah, that's right. But yeah, I'm like looking through, I'm like, oh man, I think there was
even
one.
like the eShop has a rate like viewer or gamer ratings on it, so you would even know, like an app store would.
No, exactly. It's you go into the eShop, go into like the deals section, and it's like 89% off, $1. Okay, I'll go for it. Whatever.
Shut up and take my money.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of effort goes into spending just $1. It's like, oh yeah, I gotta put money on the account and then use that money.
And there's tax on it.
Ah, God, what's the point?
Shit, I had something, I can't remember what it was. Oh yes, so we were talking Mandalorian last episode. So Boba Fett's coming back.
Yeah, and it's gonna be the guy who played Django.
He was Jango Fett, but also when they redid Jedi, like the last time they re-up, George Lucas did his edits.
Yeah,
they edited this guy's voice in over the Boba Fett lines and Jedi and End of Empire. So now it's all seamless.
Yeah,
because Boba was a clone.
That's right.
Spoilers for people who
who are
wasted their time watching the prequels.
20 years late to the game. 22. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Are
they going to revisit the Sarlacc pit and show him getting out?
I hope so. Like him trying to crawl out and just drags him back in. It's like, all right, guys, that was Boba Fett, and let's move on. Imagine they just make such a huge deal about it, and all it is him almost getting out and then not doing it.
Yeah, you just see like the exhaust coming out from his jetpack,
From his jetpack.
and then just pull him back in. Yep, I can see that. They have done stuff like that before.
Yeah, that's true.
It's basically like it's almost like the third act of all the Iron Man movies. It's like this big deal, and then we're done.
Oh yeah, it's over.
I,
Third act of like most Marvel movies.
well, I was just gonna say too, because now that I'm done the MCU-a-thon that I was doing, but even like the third act of Homecoming, after the plane goes down and Vulture's gonna take off, and Pete's like freaking out, like it's gonna explode, like his wings or whatever, and then it just like putters, and then he drops down, and there's barely even an explosion.
Yeah, it's like okay, like a normal person would have survived that. It's fine.
Yeah, so I don't know why he's like freaking out over this huge explosion that was never occurring.
Yeah.
And then I've sent you a message today too that they're bringing, going back to last week, bringing in characters from the Clone Wars into next season Mandalorian, which answers your question. You'll probably have to watch it.
Yeah, now I gotta watch it. But is it because there's one person from Clone Wars that they talk about a lot, and it's like Ahsoka. Yeah, Ahsoka. Is it just that, like her, or is she getting her own like why is everyone talking about her so much?
So I remember when it first started, because remember there was always the rule where a master can have apprentice, but you can't have more than one. So in the Clone Wars, she was Anakin's like apprentice, even though he himself was an apprentice.
Okay.
Wait, but I guess
while I guess Palpatine was of course still there.
While all this was going on, she was like the secret one, where he was training, even though he was never fully trained himself. That's really all I remember of the Clone Wars, but I think it was one of those things where it was like it's like Iron Man 3. You have the guy and the annoying little kid.
Yeah.
That's what she was when the show first started. But now she's this huge fan favorite that continued throughout that series. She appeared in Star Wars Rebels cartoon series. And yeah, I think now she's getting a spin-off on Disney Plus.
Oh, wow. Good for her. Good for that made-up character.
Yeah, well, in Mandalorian, she's supposed to be played by Rosario Dawson.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
And
I guess it could be anyone. That makeup's pretty intense.
And people wonder, why does she not sound the same as she does in all the other mediums? Because it's a different actress.
They'll go back and not reshoot. George Lucas will be like, all right, let's just dub through these voices. Do you know how long those episodes are? Are they in that 22-minute range, or are they in the
I'm gonna say yeah.
I feel like Clone Wars should be
it was on, I think, was it Cartoon Network or some whatever kids programming channel in the States. So yeah, 22, 21, 20, depending on commercials. But it sounds like Dave Filoni is like the Kevin Feige now for Star Wars on the Disney Plus. Yeah, well, he did the Clone Wars. He's working hand in hand with Favreau on Mandalorian, and I think he's just like the overall him and Favreau from what I've seen. But I think he's taking his hands and plucking it from all the stuff from the other places and building this new TV universe, which is like the only property on Disney Plus that's not delayed from the world ending.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, and Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's the one.
I thought you were talking about Clone Wars. Sorry.
No, that's
it's done, right? Season 7 was the last one. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It looks like they're all in the like 25 to 28 minute range.
28? That's like no commercials.
Yeah, around 25 minutes. That's not too bad. And I think each season only has like 13? No, never mind. No, first season's 22.
Normal.
Yeah. Yeah, looks like they're all in the 22 range.
It's not like the old cartoon orders where the first season's 6 episodes, but then the second one's
The first
43
season has
episodes.
6 episodes.
Yeah, so there you go. As I was joking. Because there's
Yeah,
some
well,
kid shows where you have it's 4 seasons, but really it's like season 2's got 60 episodes that they split over so many years. Now I heard this rumor that I don't know if you saw, which I put just a massive grain of salt on there. But there's a talk of a Spider-Man 2099 live action show for Disney Plus. So as we know, Sony owns Spider-Man, but they're going to play nice and let them do a TV show for Spider-Man set in the future.
is that a different Spider-Verse?
Yeah,
Or like,
because it's not Peter Parker.
ugh.
It's
Unless it's
Miguel
Miles,
O'Hara.
I don't want it.
So those not familiar, in 1992, there was a new run on the Spider-Man set in the year 2099, thus Spider-Man 2099, that has Miguel O'Hara taking up the mantle of Spider-Man. He showed up in the post-credit scene of Spider-Verse.
Yes.
So he's got that bitchin' suit.
And that has a release date too now, right? Spider-Man 2? Or Spider-Verse 2?
Yeah, was it 2022
October
now?
7th or something?
It was supposed to come out end of next year, but now it got pushed back.
Yeah, I got pushed back a year. Or like 9 months or something like that. But yeah, it's else. I'm like pretty excited. I really hope that they can kind of capture what made the first one so good and just not ruin it, I
Butcher it.
guess. Yeah. April 8th, 2022 is when it's coming out. But yeah, I really hope that they can just like keep what was good in it. I don't know, actually, because like there's films like
You started one way,
well,
now you're like
I know.
you
Well,
realize you know what, they probably won't be able to maintain my level of excitement.
well, it's kind of so. Was the first one 21 Jump Street?
Yes,
Okay, so 21 Jump Street
I
was
saw that one.
hilarious and just like dumb funny, right? Like just dumb buddy cop comedy movie, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then 22 Jump Street came out and it was pretty much the exact same stuff. They were always just referencing the jokes that they made in 21 Jump Street, but it had kind of a different plot and whatever. And it was like, I thought it was great. I thought it was really, really good and really funny. And the same jokes kind of landed, and they landed well. So like, that's a good way to do it. But then on the other side, there's like Hangover and Hangover 2, which was
Anchorman 2.
Exactly. Same thing, like same jokes.
Deadpool 2.
But they didn't land as well as they did in the first one. And so, part of it's like, yeah, I want them to do the same thing as Spider-Verse 1 because that was so good, but only if they can do it well. Because if they just kind of do the same thing and it's just second verse same as the first kind of thing, Spider-Verse same as the first. Yeah.
I hope that's the title.
That would be amazing. But yeah, so I don't know, like we'll see. I'm still excited for it. It's still one of my favorite animated movies. Soundtrack's awesome. Like the whole design, the whole like animation is incredible. So I'm excited for that. Although it's still so far away, like a year and a half. Nope, 2 years.
Ugh.
Make
it that long. Did you I'm sure you heard, what do you think of Disney Plus moving up Hamilton over a year?
Yeah, I don't know, I never watched Hamilton. But
I'll watch it. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah. few like, hey, look what's new on this streaming platform that I actually look at and consider watching. Like whenever I see what's new on Netflix, I'm usually like skip unless it's something I've been waiting for. And same with
Another
Amazon
Tiger King
Prime.
that pops up there.
Yeah. And then same with Amazon Prime when it's like, oh yeah, here's what's new on Amazon Prime. I'm like, yeah, I like really don't care that much.
Please
But
don't recommend things for me.
yeah, Disney Plus it's different because like I don't know, maybe it's just different because it started off with like such a small catalog. You know, like when it first came out, it was basically, all right, here's some Disney movies, here's Pixar, here's like some Marvel movies that we like that aren't licensed to other streaming services yet. But now all the new stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, I can get into this. So yeah, when it comes out, I'll watch it. When is that? That's
July
soonish.
July 3rd, they're dropping it.
The turd.
Like I liked watching the Matthew Broderick, Nathan Lane producers, which is the movie version of the stage production of the show.
Yeah.
Plus, I was also a big original fan of the Gene Wilder producers, the Mel Brooks one.
Well, it's Mel Brooks. Can't go wrong.
Or you could. No, you can't.
Wow. No, like absolutely. You can't.
No, you can't. So this I thought was funny. Did you hear the rumor that Amazon was looking to buy AMC theaters? Because that was going around the other day.
You stopped.
I'll cut out again. Awesome. So Amazon was
you've been cutting out
all night.
Yeah, all night.
Amazon is rumored to be buying AMC theaters. Right?
What?
So that was going around, I think, starting over the weekend. Now, that caused their stock to, jump.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember. There was some reporter on, I guess, like a CNBC or whatever that said, just off the cuff, what if they meant AMC networks? Because one trades at AMC, the other one trades at AMCX. So after that, AMC theater stock plummeted.
Oh no!
And then AMC networks started to uptick. So now no one knows what the hell's going on because no one's commenting on no one comments on rumors, right?
Yeah, it's true.
So I thought that was just bad timing for AMC. It's already hurting. This is the theaters I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, what would be movies playing in those theaters? Like,
there is a federal law that prevents a movie studio. So in this case, Amazon has their own movie studio now from owning a theater because you can control what's playing in it, right? And limit people from coming in that are in rival studios. Like, that used to be how theaters run before. Like this theater would only show Columbia Pictures. This one would only show Fox. And they kiboshed that because people weren't making money.
Yeah. Because it's like it would make sense for them to buy I don't know, like not the theater though.
Yeah. A network maybe, but even then.
Yeah, like
that's
what
the
are
point
they
of having your online streaming?
Yeah, it's to beef up their online streaming, which like I don't know, which needs help. But yeah, I mean, I guess there's like an argument for both, but that's fun. That's a good way. Imagine they're like, oh, yeah, actually, we decided that we're not going to do that anymore, and they just let the theater stock and the network stock just like go up and down, and be like, oh yeah, we're not going to do that.
AMC. Oh yeah. We're looking at that. Turns out they're just trying to buy that, just like an old car.
Yeah.
The American Motors Corporation. For those that are old enough to remember the AMC cars. So Jerry Stiller died.
That's sad news. Where do
92.
you like? What's your kind of like? Where do you remember him the most? Like
Oh, I
Seinfeld
mean, like
or
rather than Seinfeld or King of Queens or many Ben Stiller movie appearances.
yeah? Like
Um,
for me, it's Seinfeld, 100%.
yeah, I got into Seinfeld a lot later than everybody else. Um, truthfully, I would say Zoolander.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was 2001, so it was more of my wheelhouse of venturing into my own brand of comedy.
yeah.
So yeah, I would say that, and then I'd say 50-50 Seinfeld and King of Queens.
I think Seinfeld, like he was definitely one of the best characters on Seinfeld. But I used to listen to. I think I may have brought this up like early on, but I used to listen to this podcast called the Signcast, and they basically just like took apart each episode of Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm.
So like whatever, an episode's 22 minutes, but their podcast would be like almost an hour and a half because they would talk about like every single detail in the show. And
Yep.
one of the things I remember them saying about him was that he was so good and at like not breaking character. And so watching his bloopers or watching the blooper reels of scenes that he's in is hilarious because like, he's got that like tone of voice that just like it kind of goes all over the place and everyone else laughs and he just stays in character the entire time. So like yesterday I spent a lot of time just watching uh his like bloopers of with him in it and it's like he's
Mm-hmm.
never the one laughing. He says his thing and just everyone else cracks up and then he's just like, can we get on with it? Like, can we just get through this scene? But I'm like, I don't know how they got through most of the scenes. Like
Yeah,
everything
they
he
showed
says is
some
gold.
some of bloopers of him on the end of some. I think it was towards the end of Seinfeld when they did their like clip shows.
Yeah. They're hilarious. Like the one where he's just like, "You want
The
a
Boca
piece of
Vista.
me?" Yeah, that one too. Double Cavista and "You Want a Piece of Me." Those two, I like. I don't know how they got through that in like even in an hour, 2 hours. I'd be like, as soon as I hear him say it once, I'm like, all right, like I'm gonna be laughing for an hour. Just even thinking about him saying it is funny. But yeah, that's the because I watched a bit of King of Queens, but not that much. Um,
He's basically playing the same character.
yeah, exactly. But like he's so good at that character. Like why would like it's when you're like, oh yeah, they definitely cast the right person for that. Um, and yeah, his character. It's like when you just need an awkward teen. You're like, all right, Michael Cera, let's go. We're 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 gonna, we're gonna need you back here for a little while.
Did
But
you
yeah,
know
when
he
you
was
just
the
want
voice
like
of
a
Brother Bear on the Berenstain Bears?
what? He was Brother Bear? What?
Yeah.
Uh, really? I
You
had no
you heard
idea.
it here first.
Well, I sure did.
Whatever happened to him? I'm not going to deep dive into what happened to
Yeah,
Michael
it's
Cera.
it's not it's just not worth it.
It's not that memorable. Scott Pilgrim.
I don't know. I don't think I ever watched Scott Pilgrim.
That's
Is that
another
the it's like superhero style movie?
kind of, yeah.
Kind
It's
of like
Edgar
Kick
Wright
Ass,
directed.
but not. Wait, was he in Kick Ass too? No,
No, that
no.
was
The
Aaron
other
Johnson.
the other guy.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, that's right.
That was another one. That was so Kick Ass. Okay, yes. Scott Pilgrim, Snowpiercer, The Losers, Fantastic Four, and all the Marvel movies. That's how many different franchises that Chris Evans has been
In.
like comic adaptations. Guy's been all over the map.
That's right. He's a, he's a chameleon.
He really is.
He's cool.
Oh Lord, falling off the rails.
Yeah.
Let's bring back a dad joke.
Do it.
All right, I shall do it. Let me ask you, how do you make a water bed more bouncy?
You jump on it.
Add spring water.
Nice. That's a good one.
Write that one down.
Yeah, I'm gonna save that one for later.
Just fold it up, piece of paper, stick it in your pocket.
Yeah.
All right. Any recommendations for this week? People at home need something to watch.
Yeah, actually, yes. I have a good recommendation, or hopefully it's good. It's one that I've been using a lot lately. It's a website or you can go and type in a like TV show or movie, and it'll tell you where you can watch it. So you don't, if you're trying to find out, why Homecoming isn't on Disney Plus for some reason, you put it in and see, because it's still on Netflix and stuff like that. So it's a really cool way to see if where, or if it's not available, like if it's not on a service that you currently subscribe to, it'll tell you like if you can, rent it on Apple Music, Apple TV, or YouTube, Google Play, like all that kind of stuff. So it tells you where you can find it to stream or to buy or rent or whatever. But it's a really cool app. It's called Just Watch. It's useful.
Very useful. I've never used it. I actually never heard of it. So
What's that?
I never used it, never heard of it.
Oh,
so I may check it out because there have been times where, especially with kids programming,
exactly.
It's not on Netflix. Okay, is it on Amazon Prime? No. Oh, it's because
Crave.
Not even that. We run into problems now with you have programming that's American, so it's on, let's say, Nickelodeon in the States.
Yeah.
Let's say Treehouse has the Canadian rights to broadcast it. Now, they have their own app, which is under, I think, owned by Chorus. Now, Chorus has the rights to it, but they also have the rights to the Nick Jr. feed in Canada. So while it's on Amazon, it's on Amazon Prime channels. So you have to also subscribe to that in order to watch it on Amazon Prime. So I'm like, I'll just record it off TV.
I'm like, Prime channels annoys. I get it. I understand like why it's there, because like Apple's doing the same thing, but it annoys me so much.
I'm already paying $90 a year for Amazon Prime. I don't want to pay another $10 monthly.
Yeah. Come on, Prime channels, get out of here.
Well, it's worse because not the shit on Stack TV, but so I have a subscription to these channels, but to watch them online, I have to subscribe to the channels again.
Yeah,
because it's on Amazon Prime.
Doesn't make any sense.
And you don't offer an app to watch these channels individually.
Exactly. So it's like you're being forced to subscribe twice. They're double dipping.
That, and they're also basically saying, cancel your cable.
Yeah, well, yes.
Because why pay to watch these channels on your TV when you want to pay to watch them on your phone?
Whenever you want to, not just when they're on.
Just getting mad now.
Yeah. it's
So that is Open Collar for this week. Follow the show at facebook.com/Open Collar Podcast, Twitter, Instagram, Open Collar Pod. Stream us on YouTube, youtube.com/GoVNC. Send us your questions, comments, topics for discussion. Want a guest on the show? We have extra buttons on this StreamYard here. We have 3. It looks like only 3 people. So you want to be a third wheel? Join the show.
You're out again.
That's fine. Don't forget to rate us and review us on Apple Podcasts.
You cut out that whole time.
Well, we'll find out when I edit the show later.
Yeah.
For Michelle, this is Corey.
Hold on. Is it good friend of the show's birthday today?
Yes.
Yes. Well, happy birthday. We should have probably said that earlier.
I already wished her happy birthday.
Well, we'll get her on here.
Happy birthday, Holly.
Happy birthday, Holly.
It's in a great GIF. It's someone wearing a face mask and gloves trying to blow out a candle on a cake that's made of toilet paper. It's the quarantine trifecta.
I also saw this funny thing where it was like, isn't it weird that we used to eat cake after someone blew all their air all over it?
Yeah, I remember. It was, I think, Mitt Romney. They had little cupcakes and he would take the candles out and blow them out, and people thought he was being ridiculous. But man was ahead of the curve.
Yeah. His curve was already flattened.
That is one. I said today. It's one phrase I'm not going to miss when this is all over.
No, there's a lot that I'm. Social distancing is one for me.
Social distancing, flattening the curve, stop the spread. Yeah. Furloughed.
Furloughed. All right.
For Michelle, this is Corey, reminding you to keep it casual. Quarantine. Wash your hands.
Stay at home.